DJ Warras, the man behind the hit? A South African entertainer is gunned down in the heart of Johannesburg. Months later, the man accused of pulling the trigger admits he did it for $25,000 and is sentenced to 25 years behind bars. But now, investigators are turning their attention to another man. A man prosecutors allege was involved in planning the killing. His name is Victor Majola, and today, August 17th, the case against the alleged mastermind returns to the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. So the question is no longer simply, who pulled the trigger? The bigger question is, who wanted DJ Warras dead, and why? Warrick DJ Warras stock was much more than a DJ. He was a radio and television personality, broadcaster, podcaster, and businessman who became a familiar face to South African audiences. He had worked with platforms including YFM and 5FM and appeared on television. But outside entertainment, Stock was also involved in business and security. And it was his involvement with Johannesburg's inner city that would become an important part of the investigation. On December 16, 2025, Stock was killed in Johannesburg's CBD. He was just 40 years old. The murder shocked the South African entertainment industry and immediately raised questions about why someone would want him dead. On December 16th, Stock was in Johannesburg's central business district. He had been involved in an inspection connected to a building in the area. Then the situation changed. Stock was approached by several men. According to information released during the investigation, one of them opened fire. The attackers fled. Stock was fatally wounded. And within hours, Johannesburg was facing a murder investigation involving one of the country's recognizable media personalities. But investigators quickly began looking beyond the shooting itself, because this did not appear to be a random encounter. The investigation began examining whether the killing had been planned. Investigators began putting together evidence from multiple sources. That included video footage, cell phone communications, and ballistic evidence. Earlier court proceedings revealed that investigators were still analyzing video and cell phone information as the case developed. Two men eventually became central to the investigation. One was Joaquim Armando Pacula. The other was Victor Majola. Pacula was accused of being the shooter. Majola was accused of being involved in orchestrating the hit. At that point, the investigation had moved from who killed DJ Warras to a much bigger question: was this a planned assassination? Then came one of the biggest developments in the case. On August 7, 2026, Pacula pleaded guilty in the Johannesburg High Court. According to reports, he admitted that he had shot Stock, and he told the court that he had been paid $25,000 for the killing. Pacula, a 25-year-old Mozambican national, was convicted of murder, as well as firearm and ammunition offenses and an immigration-related offense. He was sentenced to an effective 25 years in prison. The sentence followed a plea and sentence agreement with the state. That conviction answered one important question. The man who admitted pulling the trigger was going to prison. But it did not answer the most important question: who allegedly arranged the hit? That brings us to Victor Majola. Majola is accused of being the alleged mastermind behind the killing. He faces charges including premeditated murder and conspiracy to commit murder. And unlike Pacula, Majola has not been convicted. That distinction is extremely important. At this stage, these are allegations that must be tested through the legal process. Majola is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty. But prosecutors believe the evidence points to more than a lone gunman, and that is why today's court appearance matters. Today, Monday, August 17th, the case involving the alleged mastermind is back before the Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. The matter had previously been postponed to allow for the finalization of the police docket. Now prosecutors are expected to continue moving the case forward, and with Pacula already sentenced, Today's proceedings take on a different significance. The alleged shooter has already told the court his version. He has already been convicted. The focus now shifts toward the person prosecutors allege was behind the operation. That creates a potentially crucial next chapter in the investigation. Because if the state's case against Majola proceeds, prosecutors will have to establish exactly what role he allegedly played. There are several questions hanging over this case. First, why was DJ Warras targeted? Second, who allegedly organized the killing? Third, what evidence connects Majola to the alleged planning of the murder? And fourth, was Stock targeted because of his business activities and involvement in Johannesburg's inner city? Investigators have previously explored possible links involving hijacked buildings and Stock's activities in the area, but it is important not to turn an investigative theory into an established fact. The motive still has to be proven in court. And that is what makes the next stage of this case so important. Here's what we know. DJ Warras was killed in Johannesburg in December 2025. Two suspects became central to the case. Joaquim Armando Pacula was accused of being the shooter. He later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 25 years. He admitted receiving $25,000 for the killing. Victor Majola is accused of being involved in orchestrating the murder. His case remains before the courts. But what we don't yet have is a final judicial finding that Majola was responsible for ordering the killing. That distinction matters, because this story is still unfolding. The murder of DJ Warras has become more than a story about a famous South African broadcaster. It has become a case about an alleged contract killing in the heart of Johannesburg, a case where one accused man has already admitted his role, a case where money allegedly changed hands, and a case where investigators believe another person may have played a much bigger role. The next stage could tell us whether the prosecution can connect those pieces together and ultimately answer the question that has remained since December. Who wanted Warrick Stock dead? DJ Warras's family has already endured months of waiting for answers. One man is now serving a 25-year sentence, but the legal battle surrounding the alleged mastermind is still unfolding. Today's court appearance could provide another important step in that process. We'll continue following the case as new information emerges. If you want factual, no sensationalism South African true crime investigations, subscribe to True Crime and Scams in South Africa. Because sometimes the person who pulls the trigger isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's where the investigation really begins.